This week brings rage, emotion, some stability, low energy. It's got it all. Welcome back, cuties. This is the Hellafluid Collective podcast, and I'm your host, Sarah, and I love all things astrology and using it as a tool to help us accept ourselves and tap into our own creative flows. This is a space where small business meets astrology. We combine the two so that we can make the most of our week. Today, we are going to be talking about the astrology of January 13th through the 19th, and there's a lot going on. As always, all the transits are listed down below, so don't worry about taking notes on the dates. And if you want daily reminders of the transits happening each day, then come follow me on Instagram, where I post them to my story in cute little graphics with text so you can easily follow along. If you want to plan a month ahead of time, then make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, where you can get a month ahead horoscope delivered to your inbox for free. Last thing I'm going to mention is it's the beginning of the year, so it's a beautiful time to get a year ahead reading. We look at what the planets above are doing and how they connect with your natal chart. It kind of gives you a little bit of insight as to the ebbs and flows and the cycles that you may be experiencing this year, also that it can help us accept what's going on and lean into things a bit easier. We can't control the future, but when we know what's happening to us and we can get out of the why is this happening to me phase, then we can actually be present with it. And that's beautiful. All right, let's dive in. So the first transit we have is on Monday, January 13th, and that's the Sun forming a trine to Uranus. This is a very harmonious conversation between our energy, our willpower, our sense of purpose, and unexpected changes. So what this means is that we may be feeling a little restless today, but following the path of what we're being called to do, maybe breaking the routine a little bit, might bring us some solution or some answers that we didn't know we needed. It is a transit that is all about exploration. It's a way to learn more about yourself because you can experience yourself through different situations. So don't be afraid to kind of go with the flow, see what comes up. Don't judge yourself for not wanting to stick to your normal routine on and around this day. As for business owners, if you can leave a little space for flow on this day, I would absolutely do so, because then you might do something creative. You might go to a new coffee shop and meet somebody new. Just go with what you're being called to do, because trust that your body and your mind and your spirit are guiding you in the right direction. Sometimes. At least on this day, there is supportive energy for it to be doing so. Just try it. Later on that day, we have a very emotional full moon in Cancer. The moon rules our emotions, so when it's full emotions no matter what. But when it's in a water sign, particularly Cancer, we are going to have an emotional experience. Most likely. Full moons are also about releasing what no longer serves us. It's about celebrating what's working and reflecting on what's not working and letting that go. So Cancer is all about our home, our family, our domestic life, our ancestry. So if there's anything that you're carrying with you from your childhood that you're aware of and you can work on letting go, this is a time where it might be highlighted, whether you like it or not, or you can be intentional about it and journal about these things, notice these things, talk about these things, and see what you're still holding on to that just doesn't serve who you are today. Maybe there's something pertaining to your career, what's acceptable to do, what's not acceptable to do, things like that. Or maybe there's things, in your parenting techniques that are reflecting things that you didn't want to do as a parent because that's what your parents did. Now would be a good time to reflect on that, or it may be showcased for you. Now, there's a couple things happening with this full moon. First of all, the moon itself is very close to Mars. In my books, it would be a conjunction at the time of this full moon. Mars is already in Cancer, which is kind of an awkward feeling. It's retrograding in Cancer, which is just a double awkward feeling. Mars likes to do, Cancer likes to feel. And sometimes we need to feel our emotions instead of doing something about it. So There's a lot of this pent-up energy about, oh, I need to let this energy out. Now, with the moon coming in there, that's really going to add a lot of emotion to this, which could turn into rage, okay? A lot of that energy may feel stuck and it's building up. So if you are feeling that way, I would highly recommend having some sort of physical activity that you can do that day so that it can come out in a healthy way. I mean, by all means, if you want to scream, if you want to yell, go for it. But a not healthy way is to do that at somebody else. Do it into a pillow, okay? It's okay to feel rage. It is a normal human experience. It is not okay to put that rage on somebody else. There is some supportive energy coming in from Uranus and Neptune with this full moon. The Neptune energy may have us feeling like we don't know which direction to put this energy in, which can make it feel a little more stuck. But that's not always a bad thing, not knowing what direction to go in, because then it allows you to kind of try a few different things, get curious about it, and that Uranus coming back in, allowing us to try new things. So my suggestion for this full moon is, if you're feeling that energy build up, the physical activity didn't help, try a few different things of how you might be able to release this energy, and the answer may come to you. The key is to stay open while you're trying these new things and not judging yourself for feeling certain ways, doing certain things. Just be open about it, and maybe the right thing in that moment for you will flow. As for business owners, Cancer also rules self-care and taking care of the things that matter to us, which should be yourself. So now would be a good time to release any limiting behaviors or release any limiting mindsets or beliefs around what you're allowed to do for self-care. For example, if you only allow yourself to relax after you've gotten a certain amount of things done that day, but let's say you need a break before then, is that really being fair to yourself? Is that treating yourself with respect? So now would be a good time to look at those things and really reassess how you are balancing your work life and your self-care practices. Then on Tuesday, January 14th, we have Venus square Jupiter. Now, most times squares bring tension, but these two are just lovely planets, so it's really not so bad. This is a day of joy, pleasure, generosity, and really doing things that we enjoy. This is a fabulous day for socializing. Go get out, see your friends. This is not so much of a fabulous day for sitting down and getting some boring work done. I'm sorry. If you really need to get some work done, try to make it fun so that you can actually sit through it. Put on a house mix, have some fun, dance your way through it. Make it fun, call a friend, do a co-working session, do something that makes it enjoyable. For business owners, I would suggest putting yourself out there on and around this day. People are going to be really attuned to each other. People are going to be more lovely, more kind to each other on and around this day. You could be received better. So great day for going live on social media, great day for a networking event, going to one, hosting one, great day for working in a cafe, just being around people. It will probably be a bit of a buzzing energy. There's still that energy from Monday coming in a little bit. People will be emotional, but this might bring a little bit of ease, a little bit of joy, a little bit of relaxation into the mix as well. Next up is on Wednesday, January 15th, we have a little rain on the parade, and that's the sun opposite to Mars. Okay, so if you're not feeling the lovey-dovey the day before, it could be because of that full moon or because of this transit sun opposite Mars. It's not so lovely. The sun is always going to highlight the planet that it's coming into contact with. It's shining a bright light on it, and it's opposite the sky, so it's really doing a whole spotlight thing. And Mars, like I mentioned, is retrograding in Cancer, and that's something that is asking us to reflect on our emotions, reflect on our emotional stability, reflect on our actions and our motivations regarding nurturing others and nurturing ourselves and our home and family domestic lives. This is also going to bring this push-pull energy between our desires, our sense of purpose, our willpower, and our actions, our motivations, and our desires. Are the things that we have been doing lately a proper representation of how you identify. That may be brought into the spotlight during this time. And to be honest, people might not like the answer to that question. And Mars is often one that has people feeling defensive. So there's just a lot of digging deep into some emotions that may have been there for a while that may feel icky for people. So overall this week, people could be feeling a little bit achy, but hopefully that Venus and Jupiter connection just lightens it up a little bit so that maybe we can, grow from it and really align our values with it as well. That's Venus. So anyways, coming back to Wednesday, give people a little bit of space if they're feeling defensive or aggravated. If you're feeling defensive or aggravated, just give a little space, give a little benefit of the doubt that they're going through something, you're going through something, and that's okay. Only way through it is through it. Just give it some time to process, be with your feelings. As for business owners, I will say this day might give a little bit more physical energy. There's some transits happening in the week that are more low energy. So if you need to get up and go get a bunch of errands done, get things done that are out and about, this might be the day to do so. Maybe only because you might have more energy, maybe not because people might be acting out a little bit. So if you can go with a really calm mind and you don't mind being grouchy. They might not be, but they might be. Anyways, you might just have a bit more physical energy on this day. So if you have things to get done that require moving around, this might be the day. Maybe packing up some orders. This would be a good day. Baking if you're in the food industry. Anyways, good day for physical energy activities. Next up is on Friday, January 17th, and we have the Sun forming a sextile with Neptune. This is a day that could help bring a little bit of ease into the tension that we're feeling. Neptune is all about compassion, taking care of one another, seeing how we're all connected to one another. Collectivism, there's a sense of that as well too. So it could just bring a little bit of ease into the rage that we're feeling this week. However, I will say this is one of those transits that is not necessarily peak heights of energy levels. You may feel a bit more tired. You may feel a bit more needing to rest, needing to lay on the couch. So if that's the case, I invite you to be a bit more intentional with it because Neptune is all about our spirituality, our intuition, tapping into other realms, tapping into other wisdoms. And so if you are going to kick back and maybe not do the things on your to-do list, that's totally fine, no judgment. I've been doing that this week. I invite you to maybe do a really low-key meditation, do a little journal, maybe do a little somatic dancing, anything that allows your mind to kind of just move out the way for a minute and for any of that higher self, divine, whatever you want to call it, energy, wisdom to come through. This might be a really good day to do that because there's lots to capture there. As for business owners, this is a beautiful energy for dreaming. So if you are feeling all in a rut with your motivations and your desires because of this full moon in Cancer, because of Mars retrograde stuff, then this would be a good day to sit down, get a really big piece of paper, just dream. We don't need to worry about the how. We don't need to worry about the steps, but just dream about what you really want. This would be a good day to get in touch with those things. And that's really what this Mars retrograde is asking us to do as well, really reflecting on our motivations and our desires and the things, how we go after the things we want and what we want. So this will be a good day to dream about it, not get stuck in the reality of it. Then on Saturday, January 18th, we have two exact transits. The first one is Venus conjunct Saturn. This is a day when our relationships, our finances, our value systems, our definitions of beauty get a dose of discipline and responsibility and structure and movement towards our long-term goals. They get connected with our long-term goals. This is a great energy for figuring out which of your relationships are more serious, which are the ones that are here for the long run, maybe the ones that aren't here to serve a greater purpose for you or serve a greater connection for you might kind of fade away. And that's not a bad thing. It might be hurtful at first, but just know it's for your greater good. This is not necessarily like the most affectionate day. Big Daddy Saturn is a bit more serious. Venus is more lovey-dovey. So, if your boo is being a little cold, that's all right. Don't be mad. It's just the stars. This energy can also help maybe get to some more serious matters in your relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean your romantic relationships. This is your relationships with your friends, with people, also relationships with things like your relationship with your work, your relationship with money. So looking at those relationships and getting a bit more serious about them. If there's any kinks you need to straighten out, now might be a supportive energy to do so. As for business owners, this is a fabulous energy for financial planning. It helps you kind of sit in reality and get really real about what's possible, what's realistic for your finances, or just a simple day for budgeting if you don't want to do financial planning because that sounds a bit too serious. But it can help you create some stable plans for your finances. But it can help you create some sustainable plans for your budget. On that same day, you have Mercury forming a sextile to Saturn as well, too. Mercury is our communication, our mind, short-term travel, driving, and these things are working in harmony with our sense of responsibility, our long-term goals, and our discipline. So we may be having more serious conversations, which is nice with the transit we just spoke of Venus conjunct Saturn. If we do need to have some more serious conversations where we get to the point of something or we need to talk about something that it's like, okay, hey, this has been bugging. Let's figure this out. Let's build some structure around this issue that we've been having. This is a supportive energy to do so. The sextile suggests that we're here to grow from it and that it's going to be a bit more of an organic issue that's being resolved, or it's being resolved in a more organic way. I will say with sextiles, you need to put a little intention into the energy in order to use them and get the full benefit from them. Because it's not going to be this slap in your face issue that's being presented. But if you can initiate and step up to the problem, then you'll have the support you need to move through the problem and talk about what's going on. This will also give a mental boost. So if you have some things that need to get done that are kind of boring, kind of monotonous, or really just require more mental energy or focus, this is a good energy to help you do so. Especially with a lot of the Neptune stuff going on this week, I would tap into this day to do some planning. Then on Sunday, January 19th, we have the sun moving into the sign of Aquarius, where it will stay until February 18th. Happy birthday, Aquarians. This is a collective shift from our ambitions, our achievements, our reputation, our status to the collective, into humanity, into technology. Aquarius, I feel, is also understanding how we as individuals, because there's a lot of individualism in Aquarius energy as well. But I like to think of it as how we can be our true, unique selves and bring that into the collective so that we can all come together and function the way we're supposed to function. Perhaps there will be some technological advancements during this time. Who knows? I always like to use Aquarius energy to tap into what makes me unique and make sure that I am bringing that through with the interactions I have and in my business and the content I make. So for business owners, that's exactly what I would suggest for you too, is to figure out what makes you who you are and bring that into your business. Because realistically, that's what people want. They want your energy in your business. So how can you make sure that's shining through and you're not just doing what the books say you should be doing? Use them as a resource, absolutely, but if there's something that doesn't jive with you, listen to that. There might be a reason, and the thing you put in its place can really be what makes your business stand out from others. The last transit of the week is Mercury forming a sextile to Venus. Ooh, what a lovely conversation. These two are working in harmony. This is our mind and our communication and our relationships, our finances, and the things that we value, and beauty as well. This is a day where socializing just feels a lot easier. We're all kind of getting along. we might be a little more charming than usual. It's also an energy that makes expressing how you feel, expressing our ideas just a little bit easier. You may feel like telling somebody how much you love them. Go for it. It might be received very well today. On any day, really. As for business owners, this is a wonderful energy to be creating beautiful content under. So whether you're writing, filming, making social media graphics, I feel like things will really flow on and around this day. So tap into that. I know it's a Sunday, maybe you don't work on Sundays, but if you just want to film casually or journal or, I don't know, make it really casual, you might surprise yourself as to what comes through. All right, that's it. That's it for this week. As you can tell, there's lots going on. There's lots of different types of energies. There's things that put us in a rut, and there's some things that kind of ease that ruddy, ragey emotions a little bit. So you might feel it one way, you might feel the other way, you might feel a mix of both. And even if you're not, the people around you might be feeling these things. So it's nice to kind of know what's going on. Again, to just kind of help you lean into it and accept what's going on. Nice energy for getting out and socializing, but at the same time, some people might not be feeling that one and might be feeling more into the emotional, triggered, defensive state. So go out, but just be aware that some people may be acting up. I hope you have a beautiful week. Until next time, stay hella fluid, y'all.